turn on my computer so I get light in my face, and I think that'll be good. So today I'm taking a rest day. We did full upper body yesterday. We did jump ropes the day before that, and legs 2 days ago. So I'm really sore. So in the meantime, I'm gonna do a Q&A, and if there's not gonna be any questions, I'm gonna go over the proper way to building your diet plan, diet, how to build your routine, how to put together a workout plan for yourself, and different types of workout plans for different goals. So if your goal is to gain weight, lose weight, you would have, hey Andrea, good morning. You'd have different types of workout plans and diet plans for all of those. And I'll go over all the different ones and how to structure them properly. And at any time, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask and I'll go over it. Hey Wolfgang, welcome in. So I'll start with diet, and again, anytime you guys are free to ask your questions, so you can interrupt me anytime with your comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. So first is diet, right? And I've talked about this before, of course, but I'll go over it again. You want to make it as simple as possible for yourself so that you can stick to it. If you are elite professional level, like trying to compete, obviously it's going to be more complex. You're going to have it very strict, very down to the calorie, down to how many grams of protein you're taking, all this stuff. It becomes a lot more measured, a lot more strict. You have to know the exact amount of calories you're consuming. But that's, again, at higher levels of achievement. At the start, if you're starting to get into working out, if you're starting, hey Cher, if you're starting to get into whatever it is your routine is, everything starts with small changes, right? The saying that we've lately been going over is 0.05% better. Hey Waylon, sounds good. 0.05% better every day, right, is what we joke about on here. But essentially that's what it is. So if you are trying to make your diet healthier and cut stuff out, you can cut out, hey Kim, you can cut out soda to start, right? High sugar drinks, any kind of fountain drinks. And by soda, I mean Coca-Cola, Sprite, Mountain Dew, Pepsi, whatever it is that you like to drink when you go out and eat out. There's very little nutritional value to soda. It's high in sugar, and even if you're drinking diet soda, the carbonation and the sweeteners that they use that are sugar-free sweeteners are not correlated with good health effects. So you make small changes. If you're trying to lose weight, the overarching theme of trying to lose weight while maintaining muscle mass is consuming enough protein while cutting your calories. Наталья, у меня день рождения в апреле, в начале апреля. So if you're trying to lose weight, the overarching theme that you have to follow is less calories while consuming enough protein. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut out calories from other parts of your nutrition, which is going to be carbs. Carbs are things that don't contain a lot of protein or fat. So that would be potatoes, rice, pasta, any kind of sugary stuff that you might be eating, any kind of snacks. So you would cut all that out slowly. Why I read that as oil up. Olipop. Olipops are like supposed to be a healthy alternative to soda. That's why Kim said that. So make that kind of change. If you're drinking soda, cut out soda. If you are eating whatever your meals are, cut down on the carb portion of your soda. So instead of eating, 2 fists full of pasta, cut it down to 1 fist full of pasta. You have to get used to kind of sort of feeling a little bit hungry all the time. And once you kind of sort of feel a little bit hungry all the time and you become okay with it, after several months, like it might take 6 months, 8 months, your body will get used to, that's your new nutritional intake. Again, we're talking about losing weight while maintaining muscle mass. And your stomach is going to shrink and is going to feel full with less food. So that's something that's going to happen over time. If you're trying to gain weight, you have to do the opposite. So you have to ideally increase your protein intake. But if you're already consuming a minimum of 0.5 gram per pound or 1 gram per kilo of protein, so if you weigh 180 pounds and you're hitting your 100 grams a day protein, you're trying to gain weight, try to increase as much protein as you can, but also increase your carbs. So now you have to force feed yourself a little bit. So if you've been eating about the same meals for the last year and you've maintained the same weight for the last year, and you're trying to gain again while still maintaining muscle mass or providing enough building blocks for your muscle, make sure you're hitting at least 0.5 gram per kilo of body weight of protein, and then the rest in carbs, or the rest in the other calories. And slowly introduce snacks, introduce slightly bigger portion sizes so that you're constantly feeling a little bit extra. So you eat till you're full and then a little bit extra. And then you're snacking throughout the day. So you're not trying to get all the calories in one meal. You're introduce an extra meal in your day. So if you were eating 3 meals a day, now you have to force an extra meal into your day if you're trying to forcefully gain weight. Again, it's going to take time, and then over time you're going to get used to that extra meal. Your stomach is going to expand and get used to that new position of how full it needs to be. And then you're just going to crave to eat the same amount, and that'll bring you to a new like metabolic baseline to how many calories you need to consume per day. Let me catch up on some of these questions real quick. Cher says, I cut soda last year and I dropped 5 pounds within a few months from starting. Yeah. If you cut out dairy, also, guys, dairy is very dense in calories. If you're trying to lose weight and you just cut dairy completely, no dairy of any kind, no milk, no cheese, no yogurt, no dairy products at all, no cream cheese, no butter. If you cut that out of your diet, you will see very, very quick weight drops, because Americans especially consume a lot of our protein from dairy products, and dairy is very dense in calories. Like you can eat a piece of cheese is like 200 calories, and it's a thin piece of cheese. It's like there's no food there, but it's extremely calorie dense. So if you just cut out cheese and any kind of dairy products completely out of your diet, it's a very easy way to lose weight quickly. Highly recommend. I've tried it before, and several people have recommended just dropping dairy. It's a very simple mind trick. Like, oh, it's easy decision to make every day. Oh, I'm just not gonna eat dairy today, and boom, you're next thing you know, you're losing weight. My mom's asking what kind of exercise would you recommend if someone that's getting too old. She isn't too old though. So starting exercises, I mean, body weight exercises is mostly what I do, but she doesn't have to do that. Just go light. Use machine. If she has access to gym, use machines. Go to gym, and just go low weight. 15 pounds, whatever. The same exercises that everybody else is doing, just slower weight, and she'll be fine. Like there's not anything special she needs to do. If she has specific pains, if she has lower back pain or knee pain, there's a lot of YouTube videos on what you want to type in is rehabilitation. So knee rehabilitation exercises, or lower back pain rehabilitation exercises. If you put rehabilitation in the title and you watch those videos, it's very light exercises that help with mobility in your knees and your lower back and your shoulders, whatever it is that might be hurting. And it's basically physical therapy type exercises that you do. People in occupational therapy and physical therapy, they do these exercises in order to restore full range of motion, to get rid of pain, to make sure that mobility is back. And once the mobility is back and she's got rid of the pain, she can start doing regular workouts that anybody else does. No matter how old you are, even if you're 70, even if you're 80, even if you're 100 years old, but you're in overall good, healthy shape, you could be doing the same stuff everybody else is doing. Yeah, it might not be the same intensity, it might not be the same weight. No problem, Andrea. But again, age is just a number. So at the end of the day, there's people at 30 years old who are extremely overweight, obese, who can't move properly. And then there's people at 60 years old, twice their age, who are in great shape and who can fight, who can wrestle, who can do things that usually are associated with young people. Now these are people in their 60s who like maintain really good weight. Yeah, Barb just put a smiley face. She's in her 50s and she's in great shape. She said she's the strongest she's ever been in her life. So that goes to show like age really is just a number. So all it go. Mi mami dice que saluda de Guatemala. Saludos a tu mamá, Andrea. Gracias. Um, so yeah, age really is just a number. So if you have specific pain points that need rehabilitation, rehabilitate those areas, and then you can build your routine and your training up from that, regardless what your age is. Believe it or not, I cut out cheese completely from my diet. Like right now, I don't consume anything with cheese. I eat my hamburgers without cheese. I I don't consume cheese in any form, and I haven't in like, I don't know, 6 years, 6 to 8 years, probably 8 years. I haven't consumed any cheese of any kind. It's something that I took out of my diet, and I haven't seen any negative effects. Also, dairy tended to make me break out, specifically cheese. I don't know what it is. Maybe I was eating bad cheese or what, but I noticed when I was eating more cheese, I would get acne breakouts on my skin. Cutting out milk and cheese together helped out clear my skin up a lot. And I've heard other people too who stopped dairy and it helped a lot with their skin. So I'm not saying that you might be having that problem, but for me, definitely changed changed my breakouts a lot. Like significantly improved my skin texture and skin health. So actually, yogurt. Kim's saying yogurt is good for you too. One thing I want to say about yogurt. Yogurt is often like pushed as a good food for you, but the sweet yogurts have extremely high added sugar content. Like eating a cup of yogurt is like drinking two sodas sometimes. Like they put so much sugar in there. Like there would be 5 teaspoons of sugar in one of those little cans of yogurt. And so a lot of people are like, well, yogurt's good for you. Yeah, plain yogurt with nothing added to it, just straight up, cultured yogurt that you... Привет, Вова, привет. Кому я еще не сказал, кто по-русски говорит. Всем привет. Could you go back to the park from your first videos? People, I will when I visit California. So I'm in Texas right now. And if I visit California, I'll definitely stop by that park and film a video there for sure. Anyway, so yogurt is good, but most yogurt is very unhealthy. It's extremely high in simple carbs. It does have, good protein. So make sure that when you're eating yogurt, you are still conscious. Like I eat plain yogurt. I don't eat sweetened yogurt. Well, I do eat sweetened yogurts as well, but I mostly eat plain yogurt. I put plain yogurt in a bowl, the one that kind of tastes sour, that doesn't have much in it, and then I put a little honey, or I also make lavender syrup at home, where I boil lavender flowers with sugar, and then I squeeze it all out, and then I have very concentrated lavender syrup that I add, or I add jam to it, like strawberry jam, a little bit. And I mix it in there to give it a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of taste, and I eat that, and it works great. So, and when you're eating yogurt, do know that there's yogurts that have twice as much sugar as drinking a soda. And that could be very unhealthy because you're consuming a shit ton of calories while thinking you're being very healthy. It's impossible to stop eating sweets, Nick says. One thing I want to say about sweets, and I've noticed this behind me too. I have a very sweet tooth, and I end up eating a lot of sweets. But I've noticed when I eat it when I'm hungry. If you fill your schedule up that you have breakfast with lots of complex carbs are carbs that take a while to break down, or foods that take a while to break down. You won't crave sweets nearly as much. So if you have breakfast and with eggs, which is mostly protein, but you add some carbs in there, either oatmeal or even rice or something with your eggs, that, or even whole wheat bread, right? Or whole grain bread. that you eat with your breakfast, you won't crave sweets for several hours after that breakfast, because the complex carbs are slowly breaking down and are releasing glucose and sugar into your bloodstream. And so you're not craving sugar because there's a constant flow of slowly broken down sugar and glucose going into your bloodstream as it's being digested. And then several hours later, have another small meal. So introduce some more complex carbs. If there's always glucose being broken down and injected into your bloodstream from the food you ate that's slowly being broken down, you won't be craving sweets throughout the day. The times that I crave sweets like crazy, like I had a whole cheesecake the other day, ate the whole thing, because I've skipped like 2 meals. I skipped my breakfast, I skipped my lunch. It was getting to like 4 p.m. I haven't eaten anything that day. My blood sugar is low. I'm really craving sugar. My body's like, I need energy, I need carbs. And so, what's the fastest carb to break down? Simple sugars, right? Sweets. That's straight sugar that's easy to break down, and it gets injected and spikes your insulin, spikes your glucose in the blood. So I went and ate a whole cheesecake. Could that have been avoided? Easily. How? By introducing complex carbs throughout the day, starting with morning, and then having a lunch with complex carbs that slowly breaks down and enters your bloodstream. And all of a sudden, you're not craving sweets anymore, and you're able to consume total less calories while still not craving sweets as much. So it's an easier temptation to resist. Me, I'm not worried about gaining weight right now. Like we've gained, when I started my workout routines, I was 171 pounds. I'm at 178, 179 right now. So we've gained 7 pounds in the last 2.5 months. But I look way better than I looked for the past 8 years. I look better than I have in the past 8 to 10 years. So I'm very happy with it. So I don't care about gaining weight, right? So if you're trying to lose weight, you don't want to be eating cheesecakes. You always want to be slightly hungry, and the way you avoid sweets is by introducing portions of complex carbs into your diet. Let me catch up on some of these other questions. Any workout plan suggestion, like for 5 days a week? Hassan, a very basic, if you're doing body weight exercises, very basic routine for hitting, for a 5 days routine. I'll give you like a very basic one. And this is something I'm doing right now in my live streams. Make sure you're hitting each muscle group at least once a week, and then have a cardio day, right? So one day would be leg day. And on your leg day, you can either do squats, lunges, pistol squats, Bulgarian split squats. You could do a little bit of each one of them, or you could just pick one exercise and do that for 30 to 40 minutes. Second day, do push exercises, upper body. Push exercises is push-ups, dips, and all the different variations of push-ups. Push-ups off your knees, regular push-ups, decline push-ups. Bye, Andrea. Thank you for joining. All kinds of push-ups. And then have a pull day. On pull day, you do Australian pull-ups, regular pull-ups, any kind of pulling exercises in general. So now you've hit all 3 main body groups in your body, and then after that, you need a rest day. So rest day would be cardio, right? Your 4th day is cardio. You did legs, upper body push, upper body pull. Now you're doing cardio. Cardio, you could do jump rope. You could do jogging. Those two, you could do Stairmaster if you have access to a gym. Those are all considered cardio. And the 4th day, if you're recovered, what you can do on this day is you can do light upper and lower body. If a certain muscle group feels like it didn't get enough of a workout, it's basically like a go as you feel day. So on this day, you do whatever you feel like. You could do a push exercise again. You could do a pull exercise again. You could do a leg exercise again, depending which muscle group is most recovered. Or if everything is sore on this 5th day, you could do abs and stretches, right? Or core and stretches. By core, I mean lower back, abs, and some kind of stretching exercise. That's a very basic, if you're starting out, very basic. This is roughly what I'm following on my live streams. A rough, easy 5-day workout routine with basic exercises. Don't worry about hitting 7 different types of exercises each workout. You could literally do push-ups for the whole workout, and it's a great routine, great exercise, and you will see results. And then the other thing you do, so that structures your week. Now the question is, how do you structure your months? You have to do progressive overload, and progressive overload means that on your leg day, every time you hit leg day, every Monday, for example, you try to do a little bit more than you did last time. Either more reps in the amount of time, or more reps per set, or increase the weight, right? So measure it, record it, and every time you work out, try to increase the intensity a little bit. You have to have progressive overload, because if you're hitting the same thing every single time you work out, you're not adding any intensity, you're not adding any overload. Over time, what's going to happen is you're going to plateau. You're not going to see progress in the way your body looks. You're not going to see progress in your strength increases, nothing. So progressive overload is a must, and it must be part of your workout routine on a week-to-week schedule. You won't see progressive overload in a period of 1 week, but from 1 week to the next, you have to be increasing the load. Bye, Ignal. Thanks for joining in. Yeah, I will be trimming these things and posting it in the future, Shivam. It just might take a while. I have 70 streams to go through. I'm making stream highlights, and then I'm cutting stuff out from the streams and I'm posting it into shorts. And it's gonna be a while, but I will be cutting all this up into shorts and other content. Вова говорит, с другом спорили на днях. Я обычно делаю все тело за тренировку. Он утверждает, что full body это все понемногу и в итоге ничего. Разве же это так? Вова, я и с тобой с ним согласен. Если ты бодибилдингом занимаешься, то важно разбивать тренировки по группам мышц. Почему? Потому что если ты бодибилдингом занимаешься и хочешь набрать мышечную массу, то надо каждую группу мышц выводить на нет, то есть до износа, до того, что до полного, я забыл слово по-русски, до износа, значит то, что ты больше уже делать не можешь. И это важно делать на каждую группу мышц. Когда ты занимаешься для силы, в основном сила во всем теле, чтобы была, то я занимался полное тело 2-3 раза в неделю. То есть каждый день у меня не хватало сил делать. Но я всегда делал акцент на какое-то одно упражнение. То есть если я делаю и отжимания, и приседания, и подтягивания, и все остальные упражнения, то у меня просто силы не хватает делать это 5 дней в неделю. Поэтому я делаю 1 или 2 или 3 дня в неделю максимум. Остальные дни я или отдыхаю, или делаю что-то просто легкую атлетику какую-то. Или пробежку делаю, или пресс качаю, или еще что-то. Поэтому, что тебе скажу? И вы оба правы. Если разбивать по группам мышц, то можно заниматься 5 дней в неделю. Да, технически. А если делать все тело за 1 день, то просто надо заниматься реже, чтобы было достаточно времени восстановиться. И те правы. И так можно набрать мышечную массу, и так можно выйти на высокий уровень фитнеса. Поэтому я и с тобой с ним согласен, просто у вас будет тренировки, и вообще план выглядеть очень по-разному. План тренировок очень разный будет, исходя из этого. You should do videos for 30-minute workouts that people could just refer to when wanting to squeeze in a good workout. You've been telling me that for a while. Fortress, will you try Tazio's challenge I sent you? That would be funny and clickbaity. Yeah, there's a challenge Ignal sent me where a guy puts on a suit while hanging on a pull-up bar. I don't think I'll be trying it. I won't be. Ignal most likely won't be. Best duration for fasting? If I was to pick a duration for fasting, Craig, and you probably would not consider this fasting, is intermittent fasting, which is another great method for losing weight. You basically pick a window during your day when you can eat, a 4-hour window, like different people pick a 6-hour window. So you can only eat from noon to 6 p.m. You cannot eat outside of those hours anything. Water only. So from 1 to 6, eat whatever you want. Can't eat anything outside of that. And if you're still not losing weight after going on intermittent fasting, eating it during a 6-hour window, you shorten the window to 4 hours. So now you can only eat between 1 and 4. And whatever, or between 12 and 4. Whatever you eat during 12 and 4 is all you can eat. You can't have anything outside of that. That's called intermittent fasting. So the rest of the time you're fasting. So you have a 16-hour fast or a 20-hour fast out of the day, where 20 hours you can't eat, 4 hours you can eat. Intermittent fasting is the best fasting I would go. If you're talking about long-term fasting, I literally have very little knowledge on the topic. I don't think I've read any studies on long-term fasting, only short-term intermittent fasting, which is actually very healthy and highly effective for losing weight and maintaining very good, like, metabolic state in your body. Your body goes into, like, I think ketosis is what it's called, where it breaks down that food over time and starts burning your fat quicker. So by doing intermittent fasting, you burn fat quicker, you lose weight easier. And again, making things simple. Like, again, I always say keep things simple, but making things simple is the best way to see results. Once you complicate the hell out of your life, you're going to have mental burnout at some point. You're like, I have so many rules, I have so many things going on, I literally can't. And you burn out, and then you crash out, and then you binge doing whatever it is that you thought you would never do, because you're just so burnt out. So same thing with diet. If you're introducing a diet, you have to introduce a simple frame of thinking. No dairy, for example. All dairy is out of the way. Or intermittent fasting. I can only eat for 4 hours a day, whatever I want, as much as I want, only for 4 hours. Outside of those 4 hours, I can't eat anything. Or 6 hours. And by doing that, it's very simple. By making it simple, you will see results. It's easy to stick to. It does not cause mental breakdown or mental burnout. And you can stick to it for long periods of time. My workouts are a perfect example of this. I started streaming for 1 hour a day and working out for 1 hour a day. Simple, basic, straightforward. And even during my workouts, I stick to like one exercise. Majority of my workouts, I'm doing one exercise for the whole hour, for the whole 30 to 40 minutes. I'm not doing anything else. By making it that simple, it's easy to stick to. I'm seeing results. I'm getting stronger. I'm seeing results how I look in the mirror. I'm seeing results in how many push-ups I'm doing, how many pull-ups I'm doing, how many dips I'm doing, how many jump ropes I'm doing. And so there's a very progressive, linear, increase in my strength, in my progress. It's easy to follow. It doesn't burn you out as much as making your workouts really complicated and then going into the gym and being like, oh shoot, I have to do 12 different exercises for 3 sets today. That just thinking about that is just distressing, at least to me. Maybe to some people that's motivating. To me, that will absolutely shut me down after a while. I do intermittent fasting several times a week, then I have a specific eating window and cutoff time. Says Waylon, I used to have a friend back in college who did that kind of fasting. He lost a lot of weight doing that. Yeah, I mean, intermittent fasting works. It's proven. Have you tried arm wrestling? Or have you ever saw arm wrestling? I saw some videos, but I'm not very much into arm wrestling. I don't know why. It just doesn't appeal to me. Have you tried the Sabachi Kaif challenge? No, I've never heard of it. What's the Sabachi Kaif challenge? It does not sound good. Sabachi Kaif. Звучит очень непривлекательно. Давай means like let's go, come on. In Russian, pustyak it's spelled without the H. Pustyak means like something is like, it's not a big deal. Like, oh, pustyak, it means like oh, it doesn't matter. It's calling something meaningless, or like it's like of little worry. Like, oh, that's just minutia. I think minutia is probably the closest English word to that. Like, that's, not a big deal. Forget about it. Nothing to worry about. Привет. Привет means hello. Catching up on all the comments. No workout today, you know. I'm doing 10 a.m. streams going forward. All my streams will be 10 a.m. streams. I cut out cheese, also fault. I ate a whole cheesecake. I have 2 cheesecakes a year, share. I eat 2 cheesecakes a year. That's it. And then I have no cheese in anything. So if that answers your question, 2 cheesecakes a year is not a big deal. At least I don't think so. Is eating dates after lunch dinner from sweet craving fine? Dates are really high in sugar, Hassan. I hear they're good. Like, I don't I can't comment specifically on dates. So sorry, I can't be much help there. I do know that they are really high in sugar. I only eat sweets on my cheat days, but it's hard. Would food that isn't made with dairy products like vegan cream, cheese, or almond milk be better? Let me read that again. Would food that isn't made with dairy, like vegan cream cheese or almond milk, would be better? Yeah, Andrea. So that's what I do. So if I'm on a dairy-free diet, I would. I know she already left, but I'll answer the question anyway. If I'm on a dairy-free diet, I would definitely be eating, drinking almond milk or adding almond milk to my food, and yeah, I wouldn't. I don't do cream cheese at all, but yeah, I would use some kind of spread that doesn't have dairy in it. At which angle should you do decline push-ups? So Shivam, there's no right angle for decline push-ups, but one thing you should know is that the higher your legs are, uh, the higher your leg angle, the more pressure goes on your shoulders. So if you're trying to work out your shoulders, go as high as you can. And then the lower you go, the more you're going to be targeting front deltoid and upper chest. So the lower you go, the more it's an upper chest movement and tricep movement. The higher you go with your legs in the decline push-ups, the more shoulder, side shoulder, and front shoulder is going to be stressed, depending on your form. You could be hitting your side delt or front delt. If your elbows are going out the sides like this during your push-up, that means you're hitting more your side delt. If your elbows are going back towards your body during your push-up, that means you're going to be hitting more of your front delt. But in both cases, you know, the front and side part of your shoulder will be engaged. So yeah, the angle doesn't really matter. There's no rules for it. Just the higher you go, the more you target a different muscle group. Elaborate on circuit training. So there's different types of circuit training. I actually just answered this question in Russian, Wayland, but I'll go over it again. There's the most popular form, I think. I don't eat McDonald's office. I eat mostly when I do eat burgers, it's either P. Terry's or In-N-Out burgers. Yeah, I don't really do McDonald's. When I did eat at McDonald's, I would always buy chicken stuff, like chicken sandwich and stuff, and that was over 10 years ago, over 12 years ago. But they would always give me belly aches, and so I stopped eating it completely because it was giving me belly aches. Do you have a lot of Mexicans in Texas? Yeah, I mean, Texas is a border state. We border with Mexico, so yeah, there's a lot of Mexicans here because they travel the border and they live closer to the border. The more north you go, the less of them the less of them there will be around because you're getting further and further from the Mexican border. To answer the circuit question, let me get over that with Waylon. So the most popular form of circuit training is high intensity interval training, right? That's been popularized everywhere. CrossFit uses high intensity interval training, and CrossFit is one of the biggest programs around. Most weight loss gyms or gyms that have programs use high intensity interval training. What high intensity interval training is you go from one exercise to another quickly with little rest, and it's high intensity, as the name says. Interval training means there's a certain interval that you do per exercise, and you switch exercise. You go one exercise, second, third, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, push-ups, pull-ups, dips, push-ups, pull-ups, dips, push-ups, pull-ups, dips, for example. Or you do all kinds of, jumping jacks, followed by burpees, followed by some kind of cycling machine, whatever. And it's very effective. So it's been proven that using compound movements releases maximum testosterone or hormones in your bloodstream, and actually helps your whole body growth. So doing exercise, I'm not talking about interval training, circuit training right now, but I'll get into that because they're connected. So when you do squats and deadlifts, you're going to see way more muscle growth in your upper body, even though you're not directly training upper body, than if all you do is just bicep curls and tricep extensions. Right? So even though you're targeting your lower body, you're still going to see more growth in your upper body and overall muscle growth on your body than if you did machines for bicep and tricep extensions. We went over this in school because the more muscle groups are involved in an exercise and the more muscle groups are put under high tension and stress and brought to failure, the more testosterone and whatever growth hormone your body releases, and the more muscle you build over time. And so doing exercises that target your whole body and bring your whole body to exhaustion results in maximum growth. Usually during circuit training, at least the circuit trainings I've participated in, they hit your entire body. Also, keeping it on high intensity keeps your heart rate elevated at in the fat burning zone or above it sometimes. Like sometimes it reaches critical zone, between fat burning zone and critical zone. Keeping your heart rate constantly elevated in the fat burning zone and the critical elevated zone is highly conducive to losing weight, to maintaining good cardiovascular health, towards increasing your lung capacity, and just overall, helping you be stronger, feel better, have more endurance. So circuit training is a highly effective form of training. Also, when you do circuit training, the reason I brought up compound exercises is because you're training your whole body, usually, when you do circuit training. But all in all, it's a good way to train. The reason I don't really do circuit training in my personal workouts, at least right now, is because I want to keep it simple. I want to bring my base numbers up. By base numbers, I mean basic exercises like push-ups, pull-ups, and squats. Excuse me, hiccups. Pistol squats. So I want to bring my basic numbers up. If I can bring my basic numbers up on push-ups, pull-ups, squats, then I will be happy, making my workouts slowly more complicated, more complex, introducing more circuit type training into my workouts. But for now, that's just my priority. It keeps it simple, keeps it easy. I still see results. I am 100% aware of the fact that it's not as high intensity. I'm 100% aware of the fact that my heart rate is not constantly elevated, and I let it rest during my rest periods. And to me, that's totally fine because fat burning is not my priority here. So circuit training with low rests would help a lot better with fat loss and fat burning by keeping your heart rate elevated for an extended period of time. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question, going more elaborate on the circuit training. I don't know if you had any specific question. If you do, feel free to ask. Will we see you move into more weight training in the future? I think so, Hassan. So the first year, I really want to focus on body weight fitness. So that's the goal, is to stick to body weight fitness for the next year. Well, now less, for the next 10 months, right? Until I finish my 250 streams. So for 250 streams, I'm going to stick mostly, almost entirely to body weight fitness. Occasionally, I'll have guests on here, like with Dylan when we did weight training on here with like weighted pull-ups, weighted dips, weighted everything. So occasionally I will introduce weighted exercises into these 250 streams, but it's going to be nearly all of it is going to be body weight. After that, after I reach my results and after I get my planche, my one-arm pull-ups, all these other things, I will begin exploring, so to say, different workout methods. I'm going to be doing more collaborations with other YouTubers. I'm going to be out and about, like trying different things, doing all kinds of experiments, and making videos about them, about my results. Like, hey, I tried this training method for 3 months. Here are my results. I tried this training method for 3 months. Here are my results. Here are the pros and cons of using this training method. So I'm going to be experimenting on my own body. I'm going to be documenting it. I'm going to be making videos on how different training routines affected my schedule, my routine, my life. And so in that sense, you'll be seeing more weight training and stuff like that. But I don't think I will ever switch to just going to the gym and lifting like the standard workout routine. 3 sets of 12 reps for 3 different push exercises on machines or whatever. You probably will never see me doing that for a very long extended period of time. First, because I think I would just get bored doing it for a very long extended period of time, although it is an easy thing to do. But I think that's just my opinion on that, about what I'm planning to. Whoa. Almost lost my phone there. Yes, I am going to be doing personal training share. That's all going to be on the website. So my website is going to be selling like shirts, chalk, pull-up bars, like various fitness equipment. And I'll be offering personal training sessions as well on there, where I'm going to be diving in depth into your current routine, your current weight, height, whatever your current stats, and then seeing where you want to get to, what stats and what results you want to get to, and based on that, we will build a custom plan for you that works for you about when you should work out, how much you should do, what kind of exercises you should do, how much pull-ups, push-ups, dips you should be starting with, what kind of progress you should be seeing with how quickly, and like doing a full comprehensive breakdown workout plan with you about how to achieve your goals and basically check in. So that will be an available option in the future. Currently I can still do it. If somebody wants to reach out to me over email, we can set something up. But yeah, it'll be a lot more organized and a lot more procedural in the near future and when the website's published. So that is going to be available at least for a little while. I'm slowly going to transition basically into doing this thing full time. That's the goal. If I can pull it off, you'll see me investing a lot more time into you guys, into fitness in general, and into getting people back in shape. How to do more pull-ups? I'm stuck at 5-6 pull-ups a long time. Office, try to max out your pull-ups once a day, every day. Especially if you're at 5-6, you can even do it twice a day. At low reps like that, you should definitely easily do twice a day, every day. In the morning, in the evening, do a maximum attempt. Buy a pull-up bar that goes inside your door frame that is super easy to put in and use. Put it in. Do a maximum in the morning, maximum in the evening, and after about 2 weeks, you should be able to increase your pull-up reps by at least 1 repetition. Right? If you're doing 5 to 6 every morning and evening, in 2 weeks' time, you'll be able to do 7. So do that. Do that. If you've been stuck at it for a while, do that for 14 days. Mark it out on your calendar. Put an X through every day if you need to keep yourself motivated. Twice a day, every day, 14 days, you'll hit 7. Very simple, very easy, very doable. Favorite Russian dish? I don't have one, Hassan. I don't know. I just eat food. People ask me favorite this, favorite that. I don't know. I don't even know my favorite color. It's probably blue, but will I throw a housewarming party when I move? I wasn't really planning on it, Cher. I don't think I have enough friends in Houston. Like, I've made a lot of friends here in Austin. I'm gonna have to remake my friends in Houston after I move for the housewarming party. So I could probably invite like two people. That's not really a party, you know what I mean? So yeah, probably not. Oh, Hassan also asked, what is my favorite dish? One that I can eat every day without feeling bored. So this is actually true, and I actually do stand by it. I ate Chipotle every day for a long time. Um, Back when I worked in carpentry, kitchen remodeling, kitchen cabinet installation, I ate Chipotle for lunch every single day for weeks, like maybe months. Literally, for lunch, we would go grab a Chipotle. I would grab the same Chipotle bowl every single day for months. And it tasted good. It provided me the nutrition I needed. And I was totally okay doing it every day. So I don't know if you would call that my favorite dish, but it's definitely one that I can eat every day and not get tired. Because I have eaten it every day and I haven't gotten tired. And I would do it again. So a regular Chipotle bowl from Chipotle's restaurant, I'm 100% okay with it. If I don't know if you know what that is, Hassan, because you're not in the United States, but essentially, it's rice, black beans, lettuce, corn, a pico de gallo garnish, and chicken. So that basically combination of those things. Oh, and some roasted peppers on the top. So that in itself to me felt like a complete meal. I was okay doing it every day. So that was would I date a Mexican girl? A? No, A. I would date every race but Mexican. What kind of question is that? Like why wouldn't I? Like that's a funny question. Maybe you can post some carpenter woodwork videos too, just for some knowledge for us. Maybe some tips that you can share with us. I've posted one where I did a video on how to do step down crown molding, because I didn't find a single video on the internet that talked about step down crown molding, and there wasn't a lot of videos explaining it. So I made a video saying how to do a step down crown molding. But most carpentry stuff is out there. Like, there's a lot of good carpenters that make very good content online. There's very good content online on that. How many sets per exercise a week? Dan. So I talked about building a routine earlier in this video about how to break apart 5 days. Sets don't really matter, to be honest with you, because there's different ways to approach a workout. Your workout can be time-based, so you don't even count sets. You just say 5 minutes on, 1 minute off, 5 minutes on, 1 minute off, meaning you do an exercise for 5 minutes, you take 1 minute off. Exercise for 5 minutes, you take 1 minute off. Exercise for 5 minutes, you take 1 minute off. I also did, when we did lunges, when we started off our videos, I did like 20 sets of lunges to get to like 300. It would be like, it may have been like 15 sets of, I can't do math right now. 15 sets of 20 lunges, for example, on each leg. 15 sets of 20 lunges on each leg put me at 300 lunges. Last time I did 2 sets per leg, and we did 600. I did 250 sets on one leg, 250 reps on one leg, 250 reps on the other leg, and then I did 50 reps on one leg, 50 reps on the other leg. Literally, total 4 sets for the workout, or 2 sets per leg, and I did twice as many lunges. Why does it matter how many sets there are? Like, I don't really, I mean, I understand the question you're asking, but I also don't see how sets matter at all. I think total volume during your workout matters. Total volume is what I would pay attention to. So if the total volume you did is 100 pull-ups for the workout, next time, using the law of progressive overload, try to do 101 pull-ups or try to do 105 pull-ups in the same hour. And then next time, try to do 110 pull-ups in the same hour. As many sets as it takes. If you could do that in 2 sets, great. If you can't do it in 2 sets, do it in 10 sets. 10 sets of 10, you're at 100. So I don't think sets matter at all. I think total volume for the workout matters. How many sets it takes is how many sets it takes. That's kind of on you and your strength level. So yeah, I would approach it that way. I would approach it thinking more how much total volume rather than how many sets. Increase volume or intensity to see results. Yeah, I agree with Wild. Have you ever tried Baki pose? I haven't tried it. I actually very recently started seeing like it show up on my YouTube shorts, where different people are trying different poses, and I thought that was pretty fun to see, pretty cool to see. I was just doing 3 sets to failure on pull-ups and dips, but I don't know if that's enough to make good strength gains. It's enough, Dan, as long as you're doing progressive overload. So I was doing 3 sets to failure on pull-ups and dips. So record how many you did for pull-ups and dips for 3 sets, right? Again, we're going to go off of volume. Say you did, 20 pull-ups, 15, and 12. You did 3 sets of, 20 pull-ups, 15 pull-ups, 12 pull-ups. Next time, keep those 3 sets and try to do more. So instead of doing 20, 15, 12, try to do 20, 15, 15, or 20, 16, 13, right? Make sure your total volume, keep the same amount of sets, make sure your total volume is increasing. What you want to see is you either want to, there's several different ways you can do this. You can shorten the time in which you do the pull-ups. So if those 3 sets used to take you 20 minutes, and you're able to complete those 3 sets in 18 minutes, that's progressive overload, right? That you're condensing the amount of repetitions you do in a time frame. So the more you can do in less time, the more you are progressing forward. So your workout gets compressed, which means higher volume per minute. Or you can increase total volume and keep the time the same. So if total in a workout you did 60 pull-ups in 3 sets, try to do 62 in 3 sets in the same time, or keep your 60 and do it in less time. You need to measure your workouts. And I'm not just saying this to you, I'm saying this to everybody. Guys, record your workouts. Doesn't have to be a video recording, put a note somewhere. Today I did this much in this time. Next time you have to push yourself in either doing the same thing in less time or doing more repetitions, aka more volume, in the same time frame you did it before. If you're not progressively overloading yourself, you're going to reach a plateau, and we're going to hear questions like, hey, like Office just asked, I've been doing 5-6 pull-ups for a while and I haven't increased. I don't know why. This is why. You're not progressively overloading yourself. If you're not progressively overloading yourself and you're doing the same workout every single time for years, you will look the same. You will be the guy that goes to the gym for 3 years and looks the same. Like, you reach a certain physique, you reach a certain health level, a certain, athletic accomplishment, and that's it. And then for years after that, you go to the gym and you see no results. Why? There's no progressive overload. There has to be progressive overload for you to see continued strength increases and physique changes. I would say the key is to be patient with yourself and patient with your progress. Just trust the process, enjoy the journey. You will only see results if you stay consistent. I agree with Wild. Is it fine to do 2-3 reps for like 5 sets? Is it fine to do 2-3 reps for 5 sets? That's weights, not body weight. So that type of training, especially if it's heavy, is called uh, it targets an increase. I'm trying to find the right words to say this. When you do 2-3 reps for 5 sets, you are training your nervous system more than you are training your muscles. Here's what I mean by this. Every time we work out, we are engaging between 20 to 30% of our muscle fibers inside of our muscles. So every time I'm doing my pull-ups, every time I'm doing whatever, if all I'm doing, and I'm doing this for a while, is maximum weight for only 2 or 3 reps, it is not enough to create micro rips in the muscle. Because there's not enough micro lesions, I don't know what the word is, tears, because there's not enough micro tears created in the muscle, my muscle won't grow. But because only 20 to 30% of my muscle is engaged every single time, and every single time, and I'm only going to 3 reps, I'm not creating those tears in the muscle. But what I am doing is I'm training my system that I'm capable of doing 2 to 3 reps without injuring myself. And what's going to start happening is your body is going to start building and being able to engage more of the fibers at the same time because it feels safe. And you're going to be able to progressively overload and start lifting more weight without putting on muscle. So like this is what's called Bulgarian split training. If you guys ever look up Bulgarian powerlifter split training. Okay, if somebody looks this up, Bulgarian powerlifter split training. What they do is they do 5 rep sets. They do about 5 sets of 5 reps of extremely heavy weight, and they're able to climb their numbers and be able to lift more and more weight without putting on muscle, which is extremely important to them because in powerlifting divisions that they're training in, it's what percentage of your body weight are you able to lift. They measure the total lift amount compared to their body weight. So they are trying not to gain weight. They're trying not to gain muscle while trying to lift more and more and more and more because that helps them score higher in their competitions. This is the same training that guy Anatoly, that you guys probably all know, that posts funny videos being a cleaner at a gym. He does this type of training. He does five reps for 5-6 sets throughout the day. And you could do this type of training every day because your muscle actually is not creating micro tears. It does not need as much recovery time. What it does help with is building stronger neural network and engagement of your muscle groups using your using through neural engagement. So basically, you are sending a signal from your brain to your arm that you're able to use more and more of the muscle without injuring yourself. And so building that neural connection, that neural chain, is going to help you lift more and more and more, increase strength, and you can do this type of training twice a day, every day. Because as long as your muscle isn't ripping, and as long as you're resting, giving plenty of time of rest between those 5 sets, you are not tearing down your muscle while still getting stronger, which is exactly what you want if you're training for lifting max amount of weight without increasing your body weight. So it is a type of training. Yeah, Anatoly powerlifter, the guy who has a fake one. Yeah, I just, it turned out that we just talked about it, the same thing. Muscle building is more control weight. things are a little different when you're natural. You need to have a balance of higher reps and intensity so that you can maximize recovery. For example, David Goggins does crazy volume, but not huge. Things are a little different when you're natural. You need to have a balance of higher reps and intensity so that you can maximize recovery. I'm not understanding, Wild, what you mean by that. You need to have a balance of higher reps and intensity so that you can maximize recovery. I don't think higher reps and intensity doesn't. I don't see how that maximizes recovery in any way. David Goggins isn't huge because he does endurance type sports. So he's a triathlete as far as I know, which means he runs for extreme marathons, and when you run that much, you lose a shit ton of calories, and you have to consume that many calories back, and your body is just gonna reach. What's gonna happen is your body is gonna reach a metabolic balance. Let's call it metabolic homeostasis, right? When you're burning that many calories every day, there's an optimal weight that your body wants to be in order to be able to do that endurance stuff and have as much muscle as necessary to get that completed, while at the same time not overload your body with extra weight that is unnecessary in order to perform at that level. So what's going to happen is if you have muscle on you, you're constantly burning calories just for having the muscle on you, right? So bodybuilders consume so many calories, like an exorbitant amount of calories every day to maintain their muscle. Even if they work out crazy, and even if they have their steroids and everything, but they don't consume the amount of calories that they're consuming, they're going to start dropping muscle. Why? Because the body doesn't want to be that big. Naturally, the body does not want to be big. The body does not want to have all this extra muscle. It's extra stuff to carry around. It's extra pressure on your heart. It's extra pressure on your liver to be eating that much. It's extra pressure on your organs. So your body naturally wants to drop weight. Your body naturally wants to drop the muscle when you're that big, when you're like professional level bodybuilder. And so it doesn't want to be that big. And so in order to be able to perform and run 40 miles at a time, or 100 miles at a time. To be able to run 100 miles at a time, you need a certain specific amount of muscle mass. Or if you're doing extremely high intensity, high repetition push-ups and pull-ups and stuff, like doing 1,000 to 2,000, in an hour, in 2 hours. If you're doing 1,000 pull-ups in 2 hours, your body needs to have a minimum level of muscle that it needs to maintain in order to reach those goals. But also, it doesn't want to have extra. And so when you're training at that level, what happens is you reach, again, a metabolic homeostasis where your body's like, I have as much muscle as I need to get this done. Also, I don't want to have anything extra because it's just going to strain my system and make it harder to do those things because it's going to strain your lungs. It's going to strain everything else. And so you reach like a perfect level of where your body is at perfect balance of being able to perform at these high levels while not being too heavy to perform at those levels, while also having the correct amount of muscle that you need to have in order to perform them. So I understand what you were getting at, Wild, but I also don't really understand how, in what way it helps with recovery. It's just reaching homeostasis, essentially. You want higher reps for hypertrophy? Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I agree with that. So the lower reps, more sets, lower reps with lots of rest in between is going to help increase strength, but it's definitely not going to help hypertrophy because you're not creating the micro tears that you need in order to facilitate hypertrophy. So yeah, if you're trying to, I forgot who asked the question originally, but if you're trying to facilitate hypertrophy, you have to stress your muscle and create micro tears within the muscle. And for that, you for sure need to increase your reps to 10 plus reps per set. How many grams of protein per pound or kilo of body weight? Minimum you should be consuming for growth, spell breaker, at least from the studies I've read, the minimum you should be consuming is 1 gram per kilo or half a gram per pound. So if you are 70 kilos, make sure you're eating at least 70 grams of protein per day. All right, minimum. If you can eat more, eat more. But minimum 70. And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I've only read one study on this, so there might be other studies that contradict it, but I've only read one study on this. The maximum our body can absorb in one meal, again, body build, if you're on supplements and steroids and injecting yourself with insulin, you can absorb way more. But if you're not injecting insulin, if you're not on steroids, then the maximum amount of protein your body can absorb in one meal is like 35 grams. The rest of it is going to get flushed out in your urine. So try to break apart your protein intake through several meals throughout the day. Don't try to have it all at once, because everything you have over 35 grams in one meal gets flushed out of the body, based on one study that I've read. So I don't know if there's other studies out there. I don't know how much credibility this study has, but it was published in several articles about it that I've read, and they all said about 35 grams on average is how much our body can absorb in protein per meal, if you're not taking any special supplements to help you absorb more. How long do you rest in between sets? So personally, I rest as long as it takes until I feel like I can do another set. If you're trying to lose body fat and you're using training as a type of method to lose body fat, what you want to do is you want to pay attention to your heart rate, right? Either wear a heart rate monitor or put your hand on your chest. You want to have a slightly elevated heart rate at all times. So the moment you feel like your heart rate is coming back down to your normal level, there's an online calculator for where your heart rate needs to be in order to be in the fat burning zone. You could do a calculation on that, put your age in, put your height, weight, and all that stuff, your resting heart rate, and it'll tell you where your heart rate needs to be on average for you to be in the fat burning zone. So if you want to be scientific about it, wear a heart rate monitor. When you feel that your heart rate is dropping below that level, that means you've had enough rest and you can go back to doing your next set if you're trying to lose fat. If you're just trying to get your reps in, then you're limited by time. So if I got 1 hour to get my reps completed, I keep an eye on the time and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm 30 minutes in and I'm only halfway done. I got to pick up my pace. So now I rest less between my sets. So it really depends on your training routine and what your goals are when it comes to rest time between sets. Привет, Павел. Эльф спрашивает, на данный момент ты православный христианин. На данный момент я идентифицируюсь как агностик. Я не знаю, если бы я назвал себя христианином, но из всех религий я ближе всего к православию, да. По чтению Библии, по тому, как я понимаю Библию и что она для меня значит, то я ближе всего к православной вере, по моему верованию. Ну, в общем, я себя считаю агностиком. Агностик — это не атеист, это агностик — человек, который утверждает, что он до конца ничего не знает. Не знает, кто Бог на самом деле, и как Он выглядит, и что Он из себя представляет. В общем, как бы у меня есть представление, и опять же, оно ближе всего к православной вере, но я все равно считаю себя агностиком. All right, guys, I'm going to be wrapping it up here. We are at... When did I learn Russian? I'm Russian, office. You mean, when did I learn English? I learned English when I was 10 years old. Yeah, I learned English when I was 10 years old. Russian's my first language, actually. I didn't have to learn it. I always knew it since I was born. I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks to y'all for joining and staying for the Q&A. If anyone wants to timestamp the video, I'd be very grateful in the comments. Just put, hey, this minute was this question, this question, this question. I'd be very grateful. If not, I will at some point timestamp it and cut it out and put it into shorts, but it's going to be a while until we get there. But yeah, I'm glad we covered some questions for you guys, and hopefully it helps you build your routines and reach your goals and build your own workout program and diet plan. And yeah, I'm glad y'all joined me, and I wish you all a good day. I'll see you on Monday at 10 a.m. same time. As today, we'll do an actual workout. Не за что, Ефрем. Спасибо, что присоединился, смотрел меня. Всего хорошего. Body, mind, soul, spirit, guys. Fortress with you today. And I'll see you Monday at 10. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.